Hello and welcome to Amnesia, the game where a player wakes up and they have no idea what scenario they're in. I'm Shannon and I will be the game master tonight, and with me is Aaron. He will be the player.
Hi.
Finally, the tables have turned.
Those damn turntables.
Exactly. So if you haven't watched this before, as I said, the player will wake up. They will have no idea of the scenario. They're basically blunder through trying to figure out what's going on around them, and they might do certain tasks or try and look for stuff, and we will roll to see what happens, and that will determine how those events will end up. Um, all right, without further ado, the intro.
Sorry.
So, as you slip into unconsciousness, as you start to wake up, the last thing you remember is that you're very arrogant.
Oh crap. I don't know how to be arrogant.
So, as you start to wake up from this deep sleep or unconsciousness that you've been in, you can hear running water uh, very loudly around you, and as you wake up, you're actually getting splashed by water. Um, it's quite bright. Um, as you open your eyes, blinds you for a moment, and you look around you. You're in a forest, and you're half in a flowing river.
Which half?
Your bottom half is like fully in it, and you're like laying on the bank. Your top half is laying on the bank, and your head is pounding. So your bottom half, you're completely drenched.
I don't have
Um,
like a like mermaid tail, do I?
no, you have legs. You have legs. um, no proper legs. And as you look around, you're in this sort of foresty area, um, in a river.
Am I wearing any clothing?
Yes, you are. You're wearing what appears to be fancy sort of clothing. So very nice leather pants, nice boots, a nice white top, and a nice sort of very embroidered jacket with like gold little embroidery around the edges. It's a bright blue color as well.
Am I Mick Jagger?
Maybe. So as you sort of uh, get to your feet, um,
Yep, I'll stand up and be
yep.
like, what the hell happened to me last night? I'll like, I know I'm like drenched, but I'll like see if I've got anything in my pockets.
Um, roll a d4 for me.
4! Yes!
Nice. Um, so you search your pockets. There appears to be a parchment of some sort, but as you sort of open it up, it's too wet and you can't really read what's at the bottom of it, or what's at it. But at the bottom, you can sort of make out maybe it's like a currency. So, and it appears to read sort of 10,000. 10,000 gold, but that's about it. You can't really read anything else on the note.
Pretty sure it's a fake, because if it was real currency, I don't think the ink would wash off.
No, it's not actual currency. It's a note. And at the bottom of the note, you can sort of see the word 10,000 gold. Everything else is sort of written illegible.
Cool.
You can't read it. So it's not actual currency. The note isn't
What country
10
am
gold.
I in?
Yeah, so that's the only thing you find on you.
All right. I'll take my boots off and like take the water out, put it back on.
Mm-hmm. All right, so as you sort of doing that, you hear rustling coming from nearby bushes.
Who's that? I know Kung Fu.
So out pops this very large man. He's in big shiny plate armor, and he has a big golden cloak on, and he pulls out his sword. Aha! Brigand! What are you doing here? Tell me! And he stops and looks at you. Your Highness! I'm so relieved to have found you! And he comes over to you as he puts his sword away.
I am also relieved that you have found me.
Tell me, what happened to you? We've been searching everywhere for you.
Well, it was a funny story that you will now share with me.
Well, I don't know exactly what happened to you, Your Highness, but, I mean, you were at the castle yesterday afternoon, and, well, you said you were going out for some reason. I can't remember what, maybe to hunt, and then you never came back, and well, we were worried sick about you. And nobody's heard from you. It's been, well over a day now.
I see. Hunting, eh? So I am a king? Do I have a queen?
Well, you are getting ahead of yourself, aren't you, Your Highness? No. You're a prince.
Ah, right. Yes, just
His Majesty is still the king.
Yes. Just making sure he was still alive and well.
Oh, yes, of course. And worried sick about you.
Yes, as he should be. I'm his favorite son, after all.
Well, yes, you're his only son.
By default, favorite.
Now, look, Prince Edgar, I must ask you to come with me. Everyone's been missing you terribly, and
Sorry, what was
worried
your name
sick.
again?
Are you feeling all right?
Just a little... Last night was apparently too much ale or something, I'm guessing.
Yes, of course, Your Highness. Well,
And
of
I
course,
don't talk to riffraff like you, so, typically.
Oh, okay, but well, very well. Of course, as you should know, I am Sir Braxton, the head of the King's Guard, and well, I've known
I'm
you
the
ever
prince.
since
Who's
you
the
were a
head of
little
the-
boy.
Who's the head of the Prince's Guard?
Well, there's technically no Prince's Guard, but that would be me. I've looked over you since you were a little boy, and well, I thought we had grown quite close, and well, never
I'm
mind.
just
It's not my.
kidding, Braxo. You're alright.
Oh, you really had me there for a moment, Prince Edgar. Oh, you are good at the tomfoolery, aren't you?
Yes, indeed I am. The best.
Well, look, it's probably going to be night soon, so we probably should get going.
Lead on, good sir.
Don't forget about your boots.
Oh, yes, thank you.
So he sort of helps you with your boots and everything, and you sort of go off with him into the forest, sort of traveling through the forest. It's a little while, and he's sort of looking at you oddly every now and then, a little bit worried. And then maybe about an hour or so pass as you're sort of trudging through the forest. He holds you back for a second. He's like, "Wait, Your Highness, get down. I think I hear something." So he gets down, and I'll get you to roll a d6 for me.
2.
Okay, you don't really hear anything.
Yeah, I'm not going to get down. I'll just be like, what?
So he's all like crouched and huddled, and you're still standing up. And
What are you doing, Braxton?
Roll a d4 for me.
1.
So, as you say that, another voice comes from not too far away. Oi! Did you hear that? Oi, quick, guys! Over here! I heard something! And you hear running footsteps coming towards your direction.
Ah.
So Braxton gets up.
I heard that one, Braxton.
He looks at you with a bit of a scowl. Doesn't really want to show it, but just comes across his face. And he pulls out his sword. Whatever happens, Your Highness, stay behind me. Okay?
You got it.
So he prepares, and out of the bushes in front of you pops 4 thuggish-looking people. They're like really rattly dressed. They've got bandanas and torn clothing, and one of them has an eye patch, and he seems to be leading everyone. He strolls in, and he's like, well, Your Highness, it's a pleasure to see you again.
Have we met?
And they all start to laugh. Oh yes, we've had the pleasure of your company ever since last night, Your Highness. Now, if you wouldn't mind coming back with us, we'll make sure you're alright.
That's a bit of a pickle, you see. Good old Braxo here. He, I think he wants me to come with him. And to be fair, you do not look trustworthy. I'm sorry. You should get a seamstress for those clothing of yours. And, have a bath, maybe. Present yourself a little better, and then maybe I would go with you. See this nice, shiny armor? He's a lot more trustworthy, don't you think?
Whoa, lads. It looks like the prince doesn't want to come with us because we're underdressed for his company. And they all start bursting out laughing and everything. And Braxton's is sort of getting a bit tense as he's looking around as like all the thugs start to spread out and surround you. Your Highness.
Yep.
Are your legs injured by any chance?
Don't think so.
Roll a d4.
1.
Yeah, you just sort of like, no, I don't think so.
All good.
Well, then may I suggest running?
Running from a fight?
And he sort of turns around and pushes you
Oh, all right then.
as he sort of takes off after you as well.
Later,
And
lads.
and you sort of hear them screaming from behind you, "Go on, get after him!" So you're running through the woods. I'll get you to roll a d8 for me.
Cart. Should have kept the cock one. 1.
So, you're not really paying attention at all.
I feel like I'm just going for like a light jog.
Yeah, you are running, but you're not paying attention to your surroundings at all. I'll get you to roll a d10 this time.
Oh boy. 3.
So as you're running, your foot catches like the root of a tree, and you trip and fall over. And of course, right behind you was Braxton, and so he trips over you as well. So you're both tumbling towards the ground, and you can hear some running footsteps, and out from behind you guys comes two of the thugs as one sort of starts to advance towards you on the ground.
Braxo, buddy. The help?
So Braxton gets to his feet, lightning quick, manages to catch the blade as the guy is coming towards you, and starts to push him back. However, the other one's sort of gone around him, and he's heading towards you, and he's standing above you.
Like a branch or some kind around me?
Yeah, roll a d4.
2.
All right, so yeah, you managed to find quite a thick branch.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you pick that up, and
So yeah, as he's actually trying to like swing down and kill me, or is he?
He's just sort of standing over you at the moment, very menacingly.
Okay, I'll try to because I'm gonna swing for his knee.
Swing for his knee. All right, I'll get you roll a d6.
2.
So as you swing, I mean, you managed to collect him in the knee, but you're not very strong. So you sort of just went, ah!
Take that, brigand!
And he sort of goes, ah, and he manages to grab the branch.
Don't make me use all of my strength.
When it hits his knee, so now he's got a hold of the branch.
I'll just let it go. I'm just like, it's fine. We're in a forest. There's plenty more around here.
So he grabs the branch and he just throws it aside, and he actually bends down to pick you up with his hand and grabs you by the scruff of the shirt and starts to lift you up.
How's Braxton doing? Is he still preoccupied?
You can still hear him fighting, and you can hear the other guy cursing quite a lot.
Good sign. This guy that's currently holding me, what's he look like?
He's quite nasty smelling. He doesn't have a bandana, but he's got like scruffy hair. He's got a bit of a scar along his right cheek, and part of his nose is missing as well.
What an unfortunate face.
Well, you're one to talk, Your Highness. Now, if you don't mind, we're going to take you back to our camp. And he sort of turns around and puts his sword to your throat, and he yells out to Braxton, "Oi! Big boy! Well, I think you better stop what you're doing." And Braxton stops and turns around and sees that you're at knife point.
Hi. Sorry.
Right, drop the sword, big boy. So Braxton drops his sword. I'll get you to roll a d6 for me.
Oh, Jesus. 1.
Oh dear.
Going terribly.
So, as the guy is holding the sword to your throat, you barely see what's happened, but all of a sudden Braxton has done this swift movement down to his side and quickly thrown something, and it's just brushed past your face, and it sort of cuts your cheek a little, and you just hear the guy behind you go, "Oh!" And then he falls down behind you. And as you turn around, you see that a dagger is now lodged in his head.
Yeah. Ironically, that's an improvement.
And then Braxton turns around again swiftly and backhands the other thug, who falls down to the ground and then quickly like scurries away.
Hey, Braxo, just one of my tomfoolery questions again. Have I had any sort of sword training?
Yes, sir. You're quite proficient at the sword. Actually, I've trained you myself. I'm surprised you couldn't take out that thug. Actually,
Well, I feel like you haven't had action in quite a while. Just letting you. Generous as I am, I thought you would like the opportunity to show your skills. I didn't want to show you up.
roll a d4 for me.
4.
Oh well, thank you, Your Highness. That's very kind of you. Although next time, please step in. That was a bit of a close call, don't you think?
Indeed. I'll pick up the dead thug's sword.
Yep. All right. So you've got the dead thug's sword, and Braxton comes over. He sheaths his sword and rips the dagger out of the dead guy's head. Right. Well, they're going to know our whereabouts at the moment, so I suggest we keep moving. Although now I'm not exactly sure where we are. Ran around a bit in the forest. But no, never fear. I will find out where we are, hopefully.
I have complete faith in you.
However, next time I think they might bring more people. So let's head off, shall we? And he starts walking off in a different direction.
As we're walking, I'll be just like, have you seen any of them before?
No.
They're not the local riffraff?
Actually, come to think of it, that fellow with the eye patch, I think I've seen him around before. What was his name? Leroy. Yes, Leroy. He's the head of the rat catchers, I believe they're called.
Oh, so
Notorious,
a local community
not?
group. Cleaning up the
Yes.
streets of rats and stuff?
Well, this is a bit odd. If what seems correct, it seems like they had you. Were you kidnapped by them?
Braxo, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like now is probably a good time.
Yes.
I don't remember shit. I woke up near the river. You came through the forest. That's all I've got. I've got nothing. I'm sorry.
Oh, Your Highness, I beg your apologies. I did not know. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that.
So I could have been kidnapped? I don't know. Okay, I look at like my wrists to see if I've got any like rope burns or anything on there.
You look at your wrists, but no, you don't see any sort of rope burns or anything like that out of the ordinary. No, no chafing around the ankles or the wrists that you can see. So you weren't bound in any way. Well, it seems that have taken a step up. They're normally just petty thieves, but if they're now going into kidnapping, that's certainly a big leap for them.
And
But
your father didn't receive any sort of ransom demands?
not when I was there, I'm afraid. No, he hasn't received anything, although they may have tried to send it and then you somehow managed to escape. So they didn't want to send it unless they had you. So you've probably foiled their plan. So well done, Your Highness. Well done indeed.
Thank you.
I'm sure you were very brave.
I was.
Excellent. I'll get you to roll a d6 for me.
I predict a 1. Hey, 4.
Hey, nice. So as you're talking, you hear something behind you rustling, and then what sounds like a whistling sound. You got a high enough roll, so as you sort of do, you've sort of moved off to the side, and as you have, an arrow's just whizzed past your ear.
Oh dear.
And lodged in the tree in the front of you too. And then you can hear people shouting from behind you.
I suppose it's more running for us, Braxo.
Yes, indeed, sir. I mean, Your Highness, not sir. Off we go. So you two run off again. As you're running, more arrows come flying past you.
I say, looks like they're trying to kill me now.
Well, trying to kill you, or at least trying to wound you, but they might not be good shots, so they might accidentally kill you, so just be careful.
Sage advice there, Braxo.
I'll get you to roll a d8 for me.
4.
4? Okay, so as you're running, an arrow does come past and it does graze your shoulder as you're sort of running, your left shoulder.
Good heavens. It's my good side.
And then you run out and you run into a clearing. Not a huge clearing, but it's sort of like an edge to a cliff. And it's maybe it's a decent jump to the other side.
Okay.
Right, Your Highness, I don't think we've got any other choice but to try and jump this.
Are you going to be able to do that with all your get-up?
You highly underestimate me, Your Highness.
I certainly do.
Right, thank you. Well, you go first, Your Highness, and I'll stay here and fend them off if they get too close. So he sort of moves a bit towards the tree line again and pulls out his sword and waits for them to come.
Alright, I'll back up really far and get like a good running jump.
Let's roll a d10 for this one.
Before, can I look down to see like how far down it goes?
Yes, you look down, it is quite a big drop. Maybe
Any water or anything at the bottom?
30, 40 feet. Underneath is basically just forest.
Okie dokie. This ought to be fun.
So it's about a 7-foot jump.
6.
6? Okay. So you sort of run back up, you sort of back to back with Braxton, and you charge forward and you leap forward. You sort of making it across, and as you're gliding across, you're like, yes, I feel like I'm going to do this. But you could sort of feel yourself starting to drift downwards now, and the cliff edge is still just a little bit too far. You do manage to grab on to the very edge of the cliff, though, just by half your fingers.
Braxton? Little help again?
So as you're sort of struggling, you hear the sheathing of the sword, and then you can hear metal footsteps running, and then you hear him go, "Ah!" And you just see this giant shadow going over you, and he lands like
on me.
he lands like a good 2 feet, like past you onto the.
You're wearing like 30 kilos of armor. You managed to jump further than me.
Oh, you severely underestimated him. And he quickly turns around
How old
and
is this guy?
grabs
Is he
your
like
hand.
60 or something as well?
Um, he's about
He's been looking after me since I've been a kid. So
he's about in his 50s.
that's fair, yeah.
So he's quite spry. So he turns around and he grabs you and he pulls you up.
Thank you, good sir.
You're welcome, Your Highness. Well, I don't think they'll be able to make the jump, and you see the thugs sort of run up but then stop. However, a couple of thugs do come out and they knock a couple of arrows and start aiming at you.
Golly gosh. We should go.
Right! So, as you turn away to go, roll a d6 for me.
5.
5. So, as you sort of go, he's picked you up and everything, and he sort of turns you around, but you hear him go, "Oh!" And he still pushes you off back into the forest with him right behind you. And sort of as you sort of head into the forest, you sort of get like a flash sort of comes across your head. And you're starting to remember something. You're back in the castle. You're sort of admiring yourself in the mirror. You're wearing jewels and you're like little prince crown. And you're like, oh yes, this is quite fancy indeed. And as you are doing that, you hear trumpets sound. And you go over to the window and you can see a carriage coming back. It's the royal carriage. And heading the line of guards is obviously Sir Braxton. And people are shouting that the king is back. He's just come back from visiting one of the neighbouring kingdoms. And then you sort of come back out of that.
Cool.
As you do, sort of come out of your little memory moment, you see Sir Braxton sort of leaning up against the tree, and you notice there's actually an arrow sticking out the back of his shoulder.
Braxton, my boy. I don't know if you've realized this. It's been such a fine specimen of a man. Do you know there's an arrow sticking out of you?
Yes. Bit of a pain, that. Would you mind pulling that out for me, Your Highness? I would do it, but I can't seem to reach that far back with all my armor on.
Certainly. Not a big fan of blood, but...
I'll get you to roll a d4.
4.
Okay, nice. You sort of brace it. It takes a couple of tugs. It's in there quite deep, but eventually you pull it out. And he's like, thank you, Your Highness. That's very well done indeed. Very well done.
That's a lot of blood.
Well, it's starting to get dark, so I think we better camp here for the night. I don't think they'll be coming across anytime soon, which means they're probably going to have to double back and find a way around to us. So I think we'll be safe for the night. But just to be sure, I'll keep watch, Your Highness, and you try and get some sleep. Okay?
Okay. I can do that.
Excellent. So night sort of comes, and Braxton doesn't suggest lighting a fire just in case they do come around and they're looking for you, and everything. So it is a bit cold, and with all the running and that, you have dried off quite a bit. You're still a little bit damp. and your shoulders hurting quite a bit. So you're not really getting a lot of rest, but you manage to get a little bit of rest.
That's why I
You
hate
know.
camping.
You're not fully energized. It's quite a rough night's sleep for you. When you do manage to eventually doze off, maybe like an hour or so afterwards, Braxton, you're sort of woken up by you're getting shaken, and Braxton standing over you, and he's like, "Your Highness,
What is it?
quick, get up."
Okay. Is it the ruffians?
No, wolves. And as he sort of got his sword out and sort of scanning the area, you can hear sort of growling coming from the forest area.
I'll get my sword out.
Right, Your Highness. I think we should stay close together for this. Agreed? But if I do tell you to run, you need to run as fast as possible. So, as you're sort of hearing the growling and these footsteps,
Paw falls?
paw steps. You could see in the shadows emerging. There was a bit of moonlight coming from between the treetops, and then you can actually see glowing red eyes. And stepping forth is a giant black wolf that's about your size.
Yeah.
And he's sort of stepping forward very calmly, just intently staring at the both of you. And you can...
Braxton, just a small question. I know I've lost a lot of my memory. But is that normal?
No, Your Highness. This is a rare one. I've heard tales of creatures like this, but in all my years I have never actually seen one. You can see Braxton, he's actually looking a bit scared.
Is there just the one?
There's just the one. At the moment that you can see.
It's alright, Braxo. 2 against 1. We've got this. We can take it.
Yes, I believe so. I know you've lost your memory, but you are quite the good hunter. Have you got any suggestions?
Yes. We kill it.
Very good, Your Highness. Good plan.
We could maybe we could try to flank it. One of us could go around the other way, so his attention is divided.
Excellent choice, Your Highness. All right, I'll go over to the left, and you go over to the right. I'll try and draw its attention. So Braxton sort of puts his sword to the ground and starts scraping it as he's slowly walking off to the left, drawing the gaze of the giant wolf towards him.
I'll try to creep around to the right.
I'll get you to roll a d6 for me.
5.
5, nice. So as you're walking around, you're carefully watching where you're placing your feet and narrowly avoiding sticks and things that can make noise, and you manage to position yourself behind the wolf as Braxton's sort of in front of it. Yes.
Is it on all 4 legs, or is it on like hind legs?
It's on 4 legs.
So it's just a big wolf. Cool.
Yeah, it's not a werewolf.
Right. It's a Twilight werewolf.
Yes, if you want to go down that route.
I don't. I regret it.
Well, you said it. So...
End stream! End stream!
So, What's your next
Let's just say a
plans for
dire
Jacob?
wolf.
So you're gonna kill Jacob?
Yes, actually, turn that around. Kill this fucker.
Alright, so for a quick moment, you see Braxton sort of look up at you and sort of nod his head.
Cool. If the wolf's attention is distracted, I will charge in.
Alright, so Braxton slowly raises his sword and then sort of screams at the wolf, which he sort of lunges forwards towards the wolf, and the wolf lunges forwards towards him as well. And so Braxton manages to stop the wolf from biting him by putting his sword sort of in front of him. The wolf is sort of clamped onto his sword.
Cool. I'll use this opportunity to go in and we'll try to like stab the body area, try to get under the ribs or something.
Alright, I'll get you to roll a d8 for me.
8.
Nice. So as you sort of going in, those two are sort of tussling about, and you've managed to come up and shove your sword through the back of the wolf in and up into his ribs. And the wolf sort of lets go of Braxton's sword and starts to howl and sort of turns around quickly and whacks you with his head.
How rude. How'd you know who
As
I am?
as you sort of fall backwards onto the ground. And then the wolf has turned his attention on you and starts walking towards you.
Does
He looks a bit...
calm, or like, did that do anything?
He looks pretty vicious at the moment, and he does look pretty hurt, but he still looks like he could rip you in half quite easily. Yeah, so you're sort of on your back now, and the wolf is sort of slowly coming towards you.
Braxton! Need you again,
yelling for help. I like it. So as the wolf is
and I'll try to like
almost
crawl backwards as well.
almost over you, you hear this whooshing sound, and the head just topples forward into your lap, and the body collapses onto the ground as Braxton has decapitated the wolf.
Jolly good show, old chap.
Right, well, that was more trouble than I think it was worth.
I don't know, we've
Oh,
got a
dear.
pretty cool giant head.
Yes, that's one for the trophy. Trophy room? Yes, indeed, sir.
When we get back, can we say I did this?
Certainly, sir. We can spin a great tale indeed for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But that is if we get out of this forest alive. I think it's about time we left now, sir. As you can hear more growling coming from the forest behind you.
Yes, one of these was trouble enough. I don't think I want to deal with more of them.
Well, time to go, and he drags you up on your feet, and you start heading off in the other direction. As you do, you can hear footsteps getting faster and faster from right behind you.
I'll just turn around and just throw that.
So as you turn around and throw the head, you actually see that it's not giant wolves. It's actually regular-sized wolves, and these ones are grey. So you've thrown their head at the ground, and it sort of landed in front of them, and they've just stopped in their tracks, and
Yeah.
they're just like
do you?
sniffing the head, and then they all start one by one howling And you can hear the forest getting louder and louder with the sound of howling wolves.
Well, Braxton, that was a good trophy while it lasted, but I think we should leave.
Agreed, sir. That might not hold them off for long.
Yes.
Off we go. So yes, that's a pleasant little a thing for you. So as you're sort of traveling around, the howling has died off, and you haven't heard any signs of pursuing wolves. So you're going to assume you're safe for now. As you continue through the forest, it's now starting to get light. So it's been quite an eventful night. You've had maybe about 1-2 hours broken sleep, so you're probably pretty buggered. And you're sort of walking through with Braxton. And again, you actually, I'll get you to roll a d4 for me.
4.
Nice. So as you're sort of walking through, you notice that Braxton still keeps every now and then looking at you oddly, as if sort of checking on you. Something might be bothering him.
Braxton,
Yes, Your Highness.
how's the wound you got?
Oh, it's a little stiff, Your Highness, but I have had worse, as you know. Well, you
Don't
might
you
not
need
know
to,
at the moment.
Look at it for you or anything?
Oh, no. It's a small little arrow wound. Barely felt it. But
What's a scratch?
Yes, it's but a scratch. It's a flesh wound. It's all good, Your Highness. And he sort of continues on. At which point you sort of have another flash as you sort of watch Braxton walking away from you. This time it's nighttime, and you're walking around through the castle. You can't really sleep. You're feeling a bit on edge, and you just need to walk around. As you are walking around, you come across one of the council chambers that the king uses for meetings and such, and the lights on inside. As you pass, you sort of stop at the door and listen. You can hear two people talking, and you notice the voices of Sir Braxton and the king. And the king's like, well, is it really that serious? We get threats like this all the time, and coming from mere thugs living in the forest? Yes, Your Majesty, we have reason to believe that someone will take your son, and soon. Well, we should tell him at once, and double his guard, of course. No, I don't think so, my lord. Your Majesty, he can be a bit rash in these situations, and I'm worried that if we tell him about it, he'll go off looking for these bandits and trying to take them down himself, and it would just put everyone too on edge. And, well, this could be an opportunity to lure the bandits into a false sense of security to catch them. Well, I mean, as long as you're sure, Sir Braxton, I mean, you are the head of the guard, and, well, I trust you. Absolutely, Your Majesty. Nothing can happen as long as I'm looking after him. You have no need to worry. And then the memory sort of ends there.
I'm just going to keep that to myself.
Right. So you're walking through the forest a bit more, and it almost... Braxton stops, and he turns around at you, and he's about to say something when you hear a scream coming from not too far away.
Oh, good heavens! Now what?
Sounds like a woman.
Ooh.
And then all of a sudden, that got your attention. And then all of a sudden,
A damsel in distress. Let's go, Braxton.
and as you say that, out of the bushes comes a woman, sort of dressed in peasant sort of clothes, a peasant dress. It's all like sort of patchwork material and everything. And she comes stumbling forward, and you look at her and she's all battered and bruised, like she's got a bloody nose and she's really dirty. And oh, help me, please! There's men after me! And she sort of stumbles forward, and then two thugs appear not too far behind
Familiar-looking thugs.
her. Yes, you have seen two of these thugs before. They were part of the group that sort of came to get you before. Well, well, well! What have we got here? Not only have we captured our little lass, but it looks like we've got a little prince as well.
Ah, I'm afraid you haven't captured no lass yet. You're going to have to get through me first. I don't know what my voice is now.
And what exactly do you plan on defending the lass with there?
With my little pokey stick. I still have my sword, don't I?
No, it's stuck in the wall.
Oh, shit. I'll look
So
for
I'm just
another
imagining
branch.
you've just picked up a branch off the ground and threatened them,
Yep.
and like
I've got this stick.
he sort of laughs at you.
And my
And,
wit, which I'm sure you are lacking in.
Oh, well, I think I'm gonna take the little prince boy myself. Mike, you can grab the other guy.
It's a very
Mike,
medieval name.
No. So Mike, he's a big burly fellow, so he sort of heads off towards Sir Braxton as the other guy heads towards you and the girl.
I'm just going to turn to the girl and just go, "Don't worry, miss." And I'll wink. But he can. I'm sure the prince is very charming.
Yep. Oh, thank you. And she sort of stands behind you.
Alright. Got my stick. I've got a dude coming.
All right, so he advances towards you.
Assuming he has a sword.
Yes, he does have a sword. So he sort of laughs as he sort of brings up his sword, and he sort of takes a slash down at you.
I will try to not like block. I'll try to like use the sword's momentum to like bring it around and down.
Okay, roll a d4 for me.
2.
Okay, so as you sort of try and catch the sword, he's doing it with too much ferocity, let's say, and he actually slices your twig in half.
That's what I was trying to avoid, but sure. Now I just have a sharper twig. I'm trying to stab him in the eye.
All right, roll a d6 for me.
Ugh, 1.
So, as he's sort of gone through with his momentum, and you're quick thinking of stabbing him in the eye, you're like, "Aha!" And you've lunged forward and basically gone to stab him in the eye, but he, of course, is a bit too quick for you and sort of moves to the side and pushes you on the ground. And as you're sort of falling past, he slaps you in the butt with the flat of his sword.
Why, there's ladies present?
Well, this is gonna be fun.
Any more bigger sticks around?
Roll a d4 for me.
4.
So as you look around, you can see a couple of hefty rocks and little twigs, but no real thick branch-like sticks.
Alright, I guess I'll grab a rock.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to throw the rock at him?
I mean, there's a few rocks there, so I have a bit of ammunition, do I?
Yes. So
Sure.
you're sort of laying face first on the ground at the moment, so you're sort of gathering these rocks, pulling them towards yourself, gathering your ammunition.
I'll just like roll on my back and just like, wha!
Alright, I'll get you to roll d6 for me.
1.
So, as you do, you've managed to do this throw about 3 or 4 in quick succession.
Shit.
However, you were so
You're just,
like
wrong area.
you were so blinded by the fact that you thought this would be such a cool move that you haven't really aimed the rocks. So a couple go past his head. The other one sort of hits his leg a little, but doesn't really do anything to him. And then the other one just goes straight past him, and then you hear, "Ow! Oh, you bloody idiot!" And you've hit the girl in the head with one of the smaller rocks. As the thug looks behind him and starts bursting out laughing. Oh, I was right. This is gonna be fun.
Sorry, did you say Otto?
Otto? No,
Who'd you say?
I didn't. I kind of spoke in a Scottish accent for a second, and it sounded like that. But
What was your name?
me? Why, I am Burns.
Burns.
Yep.
Alright, Mr. Burns.
Yes.
Excellent.
Excellent.
You seem like a reasonable chap.
Yes.
And you seem very confident. You seem you've got an air about you that's very. You've got leader qualities, Burns. And yet, what? You're just a little minion for old one-eyed. I've forgotten his name.
You're talking of Leroy, I
Yes,
assume?
Leroy Jenkins. That was it.
Well, of course I work for Leroy. He's a very good employer, you know. Takes on many of my suggestions. He's quite the good chap. This has sort of lowered his defense, and he's sort of stopped walking towards you, and he's sort of like,
I've just kind of like
popped
got up
his-
and just like brushed myself off.
and he's just sort of put his blade up on his shoulder.
Braxton and the other guy just like fighting in the background.
Yeah, they're just, you can hear them still fighting in the background. I'll get you to roll d4 for me.
1. I'm gonna roll.
As you are talking to him, you have noticed the girl getting slightly closer up behind him.
Okay. Burns, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I have no recollection of what happened last night. Could you fill me in on a few of the details?
Well, Your Highness, I think we can deal with that back at the headquarters, can't we? But we did get you and take you back there and maybe trying to ransom you off to your father. See how much he does love you. Gold-wise.
Oh, I'm sure he loves me greatly and would pay whatever you asked for. Did you have any sort of inside man or anything like that to help you capture me, as you said?
Well, Your Highness, I don't think that's really relevant right now, is it? Because no matter what happens, Your father is going to pay us the 10,000 gold that we ask for. And it doesn't matter what happens to you, does it?
Burns, sorry, just a couple more questions. The 10, do you have family in like in the castle or in the town or anything? Do you have people who pay taxes?
Can you roll a d6 for me?
4.
Right, that's enough.
I'm just
He
saying,
Sort of
do you know
brings
where
down
the
his
10,000
sword.
gold's going to come from? It's from the
And he's-
tax-paying citizens.
He starts walking towards you again.
How's the girl going? Is she like got a rock or something about to clobber him? What's happening?
She's like directly behind him now, and she's like lifting up a giant stone almost.
It's like, wait, okay. I will come with you willingly. No,
He sort of stops.
No need for all the violence. I'm a pacifist at heart.
Just then, the girl brings down the stone, and you just hear the like crunch sound it makes as it sort of connects with the back of his head, and he just collapses
Yeah.
to the ground. And at that point, you sort of look over and you see Braxton sort of stab the other guy in the leg, and he sort of drops down to the ground. And he's like, all right, I give, and he throws his sword away.
Braxton, took your time. You're losing your touch.
I'm sorry, Your Majesty.
I mean, a woman took out another one before you did. What's that
Really?
saying? A
Well
peasant
done.
woman.
Well done, miss. You're doing better than the prince here. Well done.
Oh, you're not getting your Christmas bonus this year, my friend.
Anyway, and he turns his attention back to the other thug. Now, tell me, how many of you are there around here? And yes, how many are there around here? And sort of thug is sort of like grabbing his leg, which is bleeding a lot. Braxton's probably nicked an artery. Oh, there's not many. There's only maybe about 6 or 7 of us looking for you at the moment. But there's about another 50 at the hideout, waiting. If we don't come back in a couple of hours, they'll send everyone for you. And he sort of looks at you when he says that.
Well, a couple of hours head start. That's pretty good.
Right. I believe we need to take this man back to the castle with us. He may have some more information.
I'm not. Did I do any sort of like anatomy classes? Do you know, Braxo?
Well, I mean, you've seen some of the doctors that we have, and they've taught you a little, but...
Surely I'm well learned. I don't have anything else to do but sit in the castle and read books all day.
Well, I mean, yes, but I'm not saying that, but yes, pretty much.
Yeah, this guy's gonna die in about 5 minutes.
Oh, yes, I guess you're right. I mean, we could patch him up. So as he sort of says that, the girl walks past and she's like, "Oh, from my dead body," and she grabs the dagger that's in the like side holster on Sir Braxton's leg. She grabs it, walks up, and just stabs the guy in the throat, and just sort of stands there and then spits on him.
Well,
Right.
that solves that problem, I guess.
Are we heading off then?
Ooh! A new party member! Excellent! Exciting!
Well, I figured I'm better off with you fellas.
I think
I
I'm
mean-
better off with you, to be to be fair.
Well, I mean, you're very wise to say that at least, but
That's me. I'm Edgar the Wise. Was my name Edgar? Started with an E, didn't it?
oh, I thought I recognized your face. Oh, Prince Edgar, forgive me. And she sort of goes down on one knee and bows. I didn't know it was you, sire. Please forgive me. I wouldn't have talked to you that way otherwise.
It's quite alright, my child. I'm not a priest. Sorry.
Thank you. May I stand?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Sorry, I've forgotten that I was a prince and I don't know all the formalities anymore, so...
Oh, oh no, it's fine, Your Highness. Oh, and she grabs the dagger out of the guy's head and hands it back to Sir Braxton, but he's like, no, I believe you should keep that. You seem to know your way around a blade, at least. He sort of side eyes you. What?
I'll
Well-
grab one of the other swords that are lying around.
Yep. All right. So you'll grab a sword. Right. Let's head off, shall we? I believe we need to head in. He's sort of looking around and
Well-
maybe that. No.
I'll kind of like... Because Braxo, you said I was good at like hunting and stuff, so surely I know my way around a sun and knowing what direction to go in and stuff.
Oh yes, of course, Your Highness. Yes, you take the lead. I
Yes.
appear to be quite lost. I'm quite embarrassed, actually. I'll get you to roll a D. Let's say 10.
Oh, jeez. My D10s haven't been working for me.
Oh, good.
I was almost a 9, but it's a 5.
Oh, well, I suppose it's almost a 9.
Oh, you'll take the almost number? Excellent.
So you sort of stand there for a couple of minutes, and you're like, yep. And you're like, yep, that way. And you sort of point off
Definitely
into it.
this way. No doubt about it.
And as you start walking off, the girl speaks up and she's like, Your Highness,
Sorry,
do
what was your
forgive
name
me.
again?
Oh, Rosie.
Ah, Rosie.
And she sort of blushes a little bit at the fact that you just asked her name. Well, beg me for questioning Your Highness's decision, but I've lived in these woods a lot. My dad is a logger. I know them like the back of my hand, and I actually think the castle might be that way. And she points in basically the opposite direction you were pointing in.
I was just testing you, Rosie.
Oh, Your Highness. Oh,
Just ask old Braxo here. I'm a tomfooler.
yes, quite the joker, apparently. All right, well, I believe the young lady knows her way around, so I guess we should follow her.
About face. Let's go.
Excellent. So you follow her for a little while, and sort of trudging around, and she certainly does seem to know her way around. Sort of stops every now and then, gauges where she is, looks at the ground, and then goes forth. And eventually you come into a clearing, and in the clearing is a cave, and there's nothing else sort of around, but from outside the cave you see Leroy starting to walk out, and he starts clapping, and then all of a sudden Rosie walks past you and slashes the back of Sir Braxton's knees as he falls to the ground, And as he does, she quickly, swiftly pulls his sword out away from him as he's sort of down on the ground.
Rosie. If that
Well-
is your real name.
Well, it is. And what did you expect? I am the best. And at that moment, you have another flash. You're running through the forest. You've got a knife in your hand. There's blood on it, dripping from the blade. Your mind is just racing with a million things at once. And you can hear people shouting, "Find him," coming from behind you. You manage to run out and you end up running to a cliff. And down the bottom of the cliff is just a river going through. It's not a massive drop. It's maybe like a 10-foot drop or whatever. But standing at the edge of the cliff is someone, and they turn around, and it's the spitting image of you. And there's blood coming from his side. You'll never get away with this. My father will spot you for the fake you are. And you sort of lunge forward at him and stab him a couple of times. And he sort of falls backwards and he grabs you as you both now fall down into the river below. And that's where you lose consciousness, and that's the end of your memory. So as you sort of come out of your memory, Leroy's sort of walking out of the cave, and there's other bandits walking out of the cave. He's still clapping. He's like, "Well done, Rosie. And you? Well, Devil Dan, you have done us proud, haven't you?" And he's looking at you when he says that. "Your plan has gone off without a hitch. Well, apart from this sore loser, of course." And he sort of points at Braxton, who's now looking up at you in confusion.
Leroy, was it? Now, Braxo here, he's not a bad guy. You know, if you just spent like, a day to get to know him, he's actually a pretty solid bloke.
All the thugs start laughing. And Braxton looks at it and he's like, "Who are you?
Who am I?
I know you're not the prince. I thought there was something off about you. Who are you?"
I wasn't lying to you, Braxton, when I told you that I had lost all my memories. However, I literally just, I know you're not going to believe this, just, as fate would have it, right now, I just got one that explained everything.
Playing me for a fool. And he sort of spits at your feet. And Rosie sort of gives him a kick in the head for spitting at your feet.
All right. No, no need for violence. I am a pacifist.
Well, it's good to have you back, and at least we can get on with the plan now. So, do you want to dispatch him, or do you want me to do it? She sort of holds out the sword to you.
So she's offering me a sword?
Yeah, she's offering you the sword to kill Braxton.
Okay. I'll take the sword. you know. Braxton here is the head of the King's Guard. There is no Prince's Guard, I asked. Do you think 10,000 gold is not enough?
Well,
I mean,
what?
is this whole me looking like the prince just for 10,000 gold? I could have the throne. Why would I settle for 10,000 gold if I look just like the prince?
At this point, everyone's sort of looking confused, and Leroy sort of clears his throat and he's like, well, that was your plan, of course. The plan was to kidnap you, offer a ransom, then when they paid the ransom, you would go back in the prince's place.
Yeah.
Are you feeling all right?
I was just making sure you guys were listening. Tell him, Braxton, I'm a tomfoolery.
He just sort of looks at you with a glare.
All right. I feel like if I don't come back with Braxton, there may be some unnecessary heat on the situation.
Look, considering what he knows, he's loyal to the king and he will out you in a second. There is no way he will keep his word. That's right. I mean, that's right! Oh, you brigands! I'll kill you all! He sort of tries to get up, and Rosie sort of kicks him back down onto the ground. Well, I believe you can join your beloved prince in the end. And Leroy clicks his fingers, and two other thugs drag out the dead body that you stabbed and fell over the cliff with, and they just sort of dump it in front of Braxton, and he starts to cry.
Oh boy, this is getting hairy. All right.
Well, what are you gonna do? You want me to do it, or are you gonna do it?
No, I'll do it. It's all right. I'll do it. So, you know, I'm not a big fan of blood, you know.
And everyone sort of starts to laugh. Yeah, right. Devil dad, not afraid of blood. And she chucks you the sword.
I already got the sword.
Oh.
Another one! Oh, no, I have two swords.
Oh, you did grab it from her, didn't you? Okay, she doesn't chuck you the sword.
All right. It's good. Put me in quite a dilemma here.
You can tell that people are now starting to get impatient around you, sort of muttering amongst
how many
themselves.
people are around now?
Look, as you've sort of been talking, more and more people have been coming out of the
Oh,
cave.
well, I've lost my opportunity then, haven't I?
And there's about 30 odd people there at the moment, with more still coming out. Remember, the guy did say there was about 50 people in the hideout.
Braxton. I know
What?
things have gone a bit weird right now. But all the best, and I hope to see you again. I'll drop the sword at his feet and then I'm just gonna run away.
Roll a d20 for me.
9.
So, as you're running, you hear a whistle coming from behind you, and then the next thing you feel is this sharp pain in your ankle as you collapse to the ground. There's an arrow sticking out of your ankle.
Son of a...
And then, as you sort of look over, you see Rosie pick up the sword, and she just sticks it in Braxton's head straight away, as he just then collapses down to the
You're
ground.
supposed to grab it, Braxton! Fight!
And
Oh, well.
both Rosie and Leroy are now walking up to you. Well,
Alright, friends. Momentary lapse in judgment there, but I'm clear-headed now. I know exactly what's going on. Let's do this plan. Sounds good.
roll a d12 for me.
Oh, fuck me. 3.
Leroy looks at Rosie and he's like, you know, I really thought we had something with him for a little while. Oh well, I guess we'll just ransom off the body then, shall we? Rosie, do the honours. And the last thing you see is Rosie swinging down the sword at your head and everything going black.
Yep, that's a fitting end.
The end. Well, I
Should've
mean,
just killed Braxton and became prince.
you should
Damn
have.
conscience.
Well, I mean, there you go. I mean, nice.
Cool.
First time you were playing, you died.
Yeah.
Happens to all of us.
Hey, at least the first time I made you paralyzed and then kill you. Gee.
That's true. I was left for dead on the ground though, with my horse just not wanting to come near me.
I'm sure the dragon would have came up and ate you at some point.
Yeah, true. A merciful death.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for having me on.
Oh, yes, thank you for participating. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Where there'll be another episode next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
If you want to vote for the genre and setting of next week's episode, you can go to woodcarvergaming.com.au/amnesia. And yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye now.